It is easy. There we go. You also got that
Okay.
notification.
Well, let's dig into it, if you will.
I want to hear about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me, I guess, share my screen. We'll go back and forth a little bit between. I can't leave that meeting. That would not go well. Between a few slides that I have here, just to kind of keep myself organized. But most of our time will be in the browser, and we'll be going into some different components of Shopify. Andrew's a little ahead of us now, kind of already has something up and going. I'm really seeing this as really an introduction to Shopify. I'd love for you, if you're just wading into it, you're like, I got a little more sense about where I might go with it. If you haven't even, you're just exploring whether this makes sense or not, I'd at least like to get you to the point where you say, yeah, I think this could work for my situation, or no, actually it's too much power for my situation. I'd like you to get to kind of a decision point would be a good place to be. I've done a number of e-commerce trainings in the past, and this has been a framing that we've done and we were using last year, where we're trying to get people to think generally about what are we trying to do online and sort of the stages of wading into some kind of online tool, making decisions about it. We made the 4 Ds, right? I don't know, but discover this notion about really kind of thinking like, how does this fit in? Dreaming, what would this look like? Like if your customers were delighted with your online services, kind of that vision about what would be the ideal situation for us to kind of help make a decision about where we go. And then design, this is going to be more in that design category, simply because we're only looking at one tool, Shopify. And it may be the design that fits your needs, your particular dream. And then deploy. I've done enough e-commerce workshops. This is the one that really gets me. I'm like, we can sit around and talk about all these different tools, but what really matters is we pick a horse to ride on and we learn to ride it. Even if some of these tools are pretty simple to do and use, the practice of riding the horse is good. You'll get better. And so there's always this, I've run into too many people that kind of get like analysis paralysis. There's too many options. And tonight we're only talking about one option. So I want to acknowledge that. And so in this dream stage about kind of where Shopify might fit in with what you're trying to do, I like us to think about, what is our own use case? What is it that would be ideal for us?
I have a question.
Little traditional e-commerce.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Just tell me, because about a year ago at this time, I was looking for something like this and picked a different vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what Shopify, I think I know what it is, but I haven't heard of it before. So who owns this? Is this a University of Minnesota product? Or?
Oh goodness, no.
No.
Shopify is
No.
Multinational company. It's based in Ottawa, Canada.
Yep.
It's probably the biggest employer in Ottawa.
Okay.
It's actually founded by an immigrant. I think he's Slovakian. So what's interesting about Shopify, and I will show you right after this part here, Dave, kind of the big picture. What is Shopify? The piece. Yep. But I think one thing that's important to say about Shopify is that it's used by some huge corporations and a lot of mom and pop companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, Red Bull and Whole Foods Market use Shopify. You'd think they would have their own coders or whatever. No, they use Shopify in the background, and that's what's running their e-commerce.
Okay.
But I'll go with this, and we'll get a little conversation, and then I'll do the big picture here, Dave.
Okay, gotcha.
You'll feel it. Shopify can play a few different roles. You can do a real traditional e-commerce thing. Let's take a product, sell it online. We sell it and ship it, right? Something sold, it goes in a cart, somebody checks out, they do the transaction, and then they arrange to ship it to you, like buying from Amazon. It's real traditional e-commerce. A Shopify can be used to pre-arrange sales, and this is often how I've been doing it. You can do an online transaction for pickup, right? This is often how I've been using it. Some people use it in terms of social selling. A lot of people are looking to use tools via Facebook or Instagram, where you have sort of a shop within Facebook or Instagram, and you're selling a product directly through social media. So it's like, hey, I've got this cup for sale on Facebook. Do you want to buy it? And people can buy it while they're in Facebook, right? You can use it to sell services. That is, it doesn't need to be a physical product. It could be a digital product. And there's obviously no pickup with it in terms of selling a service. And yes, it can do both subscriptions or digital sales, but you might need an app for that, right? And so here's where I like to, maybe we'll get Marina involved in here too. Do you have a general sense about what is your use case on how you would be using the internet? I mean, Dave, would you be selling, or what you were doing before, you're trying to sell for a pickup situation? Are you trying to ship directly? What is it that
Okay, without ever listening, and this is why I'm so interested in this, about a year ago, at about this time, I started looking for vehicles like this, thinking there had to be something, because I sell in 2 locations in Fargo, both Amanda Veggie and Hildebrand. They sell my product. And I have an idea to pre-arrange sales. I think it would be a great tool when I'm at the Red River Valley Market. People I know what I want to bring. I can have it set aside, pre-arrange. I went so far with Aaron Farmer to link Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them together and build a store. But they didn't do some of the things that they promised to do. And I was upset by that. But that's what I'm looking for, pre-arranged sales. And I want to move into the line of social selling, but definitely pre-arranged.
Yep, makes sense. Yep, pre-selling it, doing the transaction. Graham, I'm teaching a class. Okay, that's my son. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Andrea, you got a use case?
Takes me a while to figure out this headset. I don't usually use it at home.
No big deal.
I am selling both physical and digital products. So physical products would be paid for and mailed, and then digital products are just downloads.
Yep, very good. Great. And let's bring, is it Marina in the conversation? I'm Ryan, by the way.
Last night, Marina's tech wasn't working as
okay.
So she might be. I bet she's working on typing right now.
That's okay.
We'll see something pop up in a chat soon, I'm sure, from her.
I just wanted to give the opportunity. Okay, we'll see. So let's do this. What is Shopify, Dave? To Dave's point here. Yeah. Let's make sure we all are on the same page. It's a good place to start. Okay, will this come through? You don't hear it? No, I know. I do. Hold on. You got to click a little something when you do the share. Share the sound. There we go, Ryan. Sometimes hearing from the horse's mouth, little short clips is easier than listening to me. Here we go.
So you heard about Shopify, but maybe you don't know what it is or what it's for. Today, you'll learn all about Shopify and if it can help you build your business dreams. Let's get started. Hey everyone, Ali here. So let's get right to it. What is Shopify? In its simplest form, Shopify is a platform that helps you sell products to customers anywhere in the world. Shopify software is simple to use and built to be versatile to grow with you and your business. Think about all the things you need to run a business. You might want an online store, a way to collect payment, and a way to advertise your products. How about a way to track and ship your orders? If you tried to run all these systems yourself, it would be super complicated and very time-consuming to start a business. But Shopify's core product gives you access to all the tools you need and more. When you sign up, you get access to the following. A storefront. This is your online store where you can create web pages, upload blog posts, and of course, sell products. A payment processor used to capture payments for your orders. A secure checkout optimized for speed, conversion, and customer experience. A shipping platform to customize the shipping rates for your specific products and locations. Run pickup and delivery. And even buy discounted shipping labels with Shopify Shipping. POS Lite, a point-of-sale app to sell your products in person, including brick-and-mortar stores, markets, and pop-up shops. A marketing platform like the built-in blog, SEO tools, and marketing campaigns with Facebook and Google Shopping. And finally, a back office, which includes a Shopify mobile app, analytics and reports, an app store with tons of free apps, and of course, 24/7 support. The Shopify platform is built for brand new startups that run right out of their living room, all the way to enterprise businesses that have storefronts on a global level. Now that you know what Shopify is, it's time to see what you can do with it. I'm going to pass it over.
All right. I'm gonna hit. They go on, but I stopped them because, so I mean, to really sort of reiterate some of the different components that are part of Shopify, I think they did a good job of sort of laying some of those things out. You know, there's the opportunity to do this in online store. I feel that there's two main flavors going on here. Using the entire Shopify store, which I'll show you, which is sort of like a website plus the product, the ability to sell products through that store. Or what I actually do is Shopify Lite, which allows for different buy buttons and embedding of products. But so different components are the store, which is a website, which you can customize, can have a blog, an about us page, a contact us page, things like that. But Shopify is sort of an integrated payment processor. So you don't have to go out and say, get a different account with Stripe or some other type of app in order to do the payment. If you already are using something like PayPal, you can use that through Shopify. I don't, I just use Shopify as a payment processor itself. And then I think the important part is this back end stuff in terms of inventory management, which gives you a way of managing orders, customers, payment, and inventory. And then this shipping platform, which allows you to, you can either arrange just for pickup or for delivery. So like Dave, for the pre-arrangements you do in the pickup situation. But it also simplifies that shipping part of it all. So if I was gonna, let's take a look at this back end. So I'll stop there. Is there a question on just where we're at so far?
No,
No.
for me.
Andrea already has this. She feels good. Let me see. Oh, there's Marina, SPDC consultant. Fine. Okay, very good. All right, I see that. So if we look at well, maybe before I do that, I'm going to show you this part here a little bit about sort of the options. And then what we'll do is we'll look at the back end and see how this is organized in real life. So again, there's, I think, a couple of different flavors. One, if you don't have a website and you wanted Shopify to be both your website and the place where you sell products, That's what they call a Shopify store. So that's one option. I'm going to show you some examples of how we've used it at the food co-op, where we're using embedding products and buying buttons, as well as a checkout link, simply because we have our own website. So what we're doing is we're incorporating what's going on here. We're incorporating the Shopify functions into our existing website. So hold on, let's see. Oh, close that. So a few different ways. This, I should go out here. This is where I've gotten most of my experience with Shopify, is via this website. For this co-op, I help manage. I'm on the board of Mana Food Co-op. Our front page. We recently moved in Detroit Lakes. In a few different ways that we've used it. One, this is an example of selling memberships. So this is a non-physical product. We're selling a membership and equity investment. And we do that just via what they call a checkout link. And so all this is a link that's created by Shopify. And we link it here via our WordPress site. And then what it does is it takes us to kind of the back end of Shopify in order to do the transaction. So for me as a customer, this is a very seamless transaction, which is not unlike checking out on Amazon or any other e-commerce site. And if you notice here, we only allow for pickup. We're not shipping things. So there's a way on the back end in Shopify. So if you don't want to ship and deliver, you don't have to. You can set it just for pickup, which is what we do. So in this case, it's the shopping cart side of it all. Another way we've used it in terms of featuring products is on an individual page, and this is a WordPress site. What we do is we embed products. So if you even had a very simple website that allowed you to embed some HTML, it's very simple to kind of embed these different widgets. This is a very simple example where we're selling some different gift baskets for Christmas, like this jam and jelly set. We did a very simple look to it. Again, once you put it in the cart, it's a simple checkout, not unlike that we just saw with that membership. A couple of other examples of how we've used it. And this is something that was a little more involved. Again, we were embedding the HTML from Shopify into this WordPress site. Here we were selling these traditional native meal kits. So we set it up on this page that had some information on how to do the meal, if you will. And so that little thing goes in here. This whole part here, if you see my cursor, is all coming out of Shopify. This picture, as well as these what we call variants that allow us to put in multiple places pickup locations. We had 7 different pickup locations that people could pick from. Right now, everything's out of stock, so you can't purchase it. That's inventory control in the background we'll look at, as well as basically whatever we would put for a description about the product here. Also here, on our same site, we had some information about the meal kits in general, as well as this little YouTube video we did about the meal kits, which we sold over about 4 or 5 months. So
Hi, I'm Zachary Page, working with the White Earth Food Sovereignty Initiative.
And I'm Ryan Pesch, Mana Food Co-op. Since the beginning of the year, Mana Food Co-op.
You get the idea. And lastly, this is just like how we were using the traditional native meal kits. Here's an example where we were actually we weren't even selling the turkeys directly online. we were just doing a pre-order. So if you notice here, with these Ferndale turkeys that we're doing pre-orders for, it costs nothing, right? So what we were doing is people were going and doing a transaction as if they're buying the turkey. And what we were doing is we're just using it for people to do a pre-order and then pick up, because if we only had a range, right? You could put individual turkeys on here. One was 14.3 pounds and one was 15.2 pounds. Then you could put the actual price, but we didn't know those actual weights until we received the turkeys. So we were selling turkeys, 4 and 6 weeks before we received them at the store. And this is a way that we could do that pre-order in much early in advance to make sure that we were selling off all of these turkeys in time. And then we just had to let people know, hey, you got to come and pick up your turkey that you reserved. So we used it really as a reserving thing, if you will. So let me stop here. Questions kind of on how we were using Shopify before I get into the guts of Shopify? No,
I understand.
that makes sense to me. Oh, Roxanne, hello, welcome. You want to say hi? Maybe not. Roxanne just lurking, that's fine. Okay, we'll continue on. So let's get into, okay, she's out of here.
Roxanne is gone.
Okay, I don't know. Doing these
And
online courses.
Marina had to leave, and Andrea may be back if she gets done with interviews.
Gotcha.
But this is being recorded too, so the other attendees can watch later if they'd like.
Yep, that's okay. So, well, let's look into the back side of it then here, Dave. So this is what it looks like on the back side. I think once you get a feel for it, I find it pretty simple myself. So it's organized according to orders, products, customers are the main things. These three categories right here are the ones that really are the guts of Shopify. So for example, when you will see, here's all of our turkeys. Let me see here. I think these are our turkeys. Yes. So here you see, we got an order, you get an order number, just a running total, when it came in, who bought it, what they paid. Let's see, let me go to Marianne Seifert. You can go into more details. So this is an example, like Dave, you're selling things by the bushel.
We did lose Dave.
We even lost Dave? Oh, goodness.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
He's back. Dave, welcome back.
So these turkeys are an example where we weren't taking any payment. But for example, if you've sold a bushel of apples, you could see the payment here. You'd already had the transaction, just a matter of them picking up, right? For each order that would come in, you would have what was purchased, this tracking as if you were shipping it, and then the customer and their contact information, right? And all, what it does is this timeline. So the time at which the order was received, and what you do is you can do an automatic, we have it set as an automatic notification that the order was received, right? So Marianne put in the order, she got an email saying, hey, thank you. If she actually a notification by text or by email, depending what she puts in. Hey, we got your order. And she had a confirmation of that. And then what we did is we fulfilled it once it came in, which is basically sends out an email saying, hey, your order is ready for pickup. And then there you go. Actually, going from the bottom up is what happened. We fulfilled it. And then, and if you needed to, say somebody isn't picking up, you can actually do a resend of an email saying, hey, actually, your order is here, please pick up. And you can change those notifications or customize those notifications.
Mhm.
The most important part, I think, of Shopify are products. So if we go into here, or let me see an example. I don't know, we sold these Apple cookies, whatever. But what you have is the product itself, which is in here, a description of it. You can put in whatever media you'd like to have. You can put a video in, you can put pictures in, multiple pictures in, pricing, and then the inventory. Obviously, keeping track of the inventory is a big deal, especially for us with the meal kits. There's a great danger of overselling. Could you imagine if we oversold 10 meal kits and we can't produce 10 extra meal kits? It's kind of a problem. So you can adjust your inventory here saying, hey, we only got 100 of these things to sell, or I only have the juice to pack 50 bushels, right, Dave? And that's it. So that's what I'm going to put down. And then over here is where you can sell it by the different actions, if you will. So what we were doing on our WordPress site is we were creating these full views, right? And right here, what it does is it generates code. And all we do is copy that code and paste it into our site. And this whole thing goes live, if you will. And it speaks directly to Shopify. So you don't have to monitor this in any way. You only come back to Shopify in order to change, say, inventory and stuff like that. And it will update automatically on the website. So far, so good. Oh, Andrew uses. I can stop there and look. So far, so good, Dave? Maybe.
I'll assume no response is a good response.
No response is a good response. Yes. Well, I'll share this part here because I think it's an important part, is this piece on doing how to add a product in terms of all these details. So let's get into this piece here.
Casey from Shopify. So you started your business and now you're ready to bring products into your store. I'll teach you how to add a product and what information you need to include to help make sales. For all the links and videos described in this video, check out our description below. Start on the Shopify admin, click on Products, and then click Add Product. You don't need to enter every product detail listed in this video, so you can choose what's important for your business. Next, give your product a name and write a detailed description. I'm going to add an exercise ball to our store. Descriptions inform and persuade customers to make a purchase. If you use a dropshipping service like Oberlo, it's best to rewrite the provided description to fit your brand. Descriptions also help with search engine optimization, also known as SEO. By adding a description and details, you're helping your customers find your products easier. Next, you can add media files to the product. You can add them by dragging and dropping the files, selecting them from your computer, or by adding a URL. Visuals help your customers decide if they want to make a purchase, so it's best to have a visual for all of your products. Now you need to add a price. This is what customers pay at checkout. The compare at price is the original price for a product that's on sale. For example, if you enter $30 as the compare at price and leave the price at $20, the product displays as $10 off. Giving a compare at price encourages customers to purchase your product while it's at a lower price. If this product is not on sale, you can leave this field blank. The cost per item is how much the product costs you. If you resell a product, then enter the price you paid the manufacturer, excluding taxes, shipping, or other costs. Or if you create the product yourself, then enter a value that's based on your labor and material costs. This helps you calculate sales profits, generate reports, and see statistics about your products. Click Charge Tax on this product if the product is taxable. Under the Inventory column, you see Inventory Managed By. Select Shopify if you manage the inventory. If you use a third-party app to manage the inventory, then you can select that option here. The stock keeping unit, also known as a SKU, is a unique value for the product. SKUs help you organize your inventory and fulfill orders. If you use SKUs, then enter the unit here. You also see an option here to enter a barcode. Some sales channels like Google or Amazon require a barcode before your product can be published. When Track Inventory is checked, the Shopify admin tracks inventory for this product. If you don't check this box, then the quantity option is not available. If you only have a specific amount of stock, then it's important to track inventory so you don't sell out of an item. You can also choose to select Continue Selling when out of stock. Only select this if you can keep up with demand and will have inventory shortly. Next, enter the number of units in stock under Quantity. If you have one business location, then your inventory layout looks slightly different. Uncheck the Track Quantity box if you aren't tracking inventory. Otherwise, enter individual quantity numbers for this product at each location where it's available. Under Shipping, select This is a physical product if this is an item that needs to be shipped. Uncheck it for digital products or services or for products that you never ship. Now, enter the product's weight. This field only appears when This is a physical product is checked. Product weight needs to be accurate because it's used to calculate shipping rates. You can select between different measurements such as pounds, ounces, kilograms, and grams. If you want to ship the product internationally with Shopify shipping, also known as selling cross-border, then you need to enter the customs information for country or region of origin. Having a shipping strategy is very important for your business. For more information on shipping, check out the link in our description below. Next, enter the Harmonized System Code. If you're not sure what that is, you can start by typing in your product in the search field to look for an HS code. Select This product has multiple options like different sizes or colors if this applies. Each product option is also known as a variant. For example, if I sell this exercise ball in size 55 centimeters and 65 centimeters, then each size is a variant. Under Options, enter a title for the option name. In the blank field next to it, enter the different variants available by separating each one with a comma. Continue to add options for other variants by clicking the Add Another Option button until finished. After you finish entering the variants, you can see the different variants and their locations under Preview. The Search Engine Listing Preview is a preview of how your product appears in search engine results like Google. Click Edit Website SEO to make changes to the preview. Now, scroll back at the top. On the right side, you see Sales Channels and Apps. Sales channels are the different platforms where you sell your products. Select the checkbox for the channels where you want this product to be available. I'm going to sell this on our online store and point of sales, so I need to have these two boxes checked. Under Organization, you see Product Type. This is a category for the product. You can use the product type as a condition for an automated collection or to filter products in the Shopify admin. A product can only have one product type. You can use a product type already made or create a new one. To create a new product type, enter it into the product type field. The vendor is the manufacturer, wholesaler, or seller for the product. If you created this product yourself, then enter your business name, or if you want, you can leave it blank. If you work with a lot of different manufacturers, this can be useful to organize your products. You can also add the product directly to a collection. Collections group your products and make it easier for customers to find them on your online store. Use the Collections field to add the product directly to a manual collection. In this example, the exercise ball product is a part of the athletic accessories collection of Alley Athletics. Finally, tags are searchable keywords associated with your product. Tags help customers find your product through your online store search, and you can also use them to create automated collections. I want customers to see this product whenever they search for the words exercise or ball on my store, so I use those as tags. Review the details you've entered, and when you're ready for this product to appear on your store, select Active under Product Status at the top of the page. If your store is live, then active products will be on your store for customers to buy. If you're not ready for this item to appear on your online store, then select Draft. Products are automatically saved in draft mode until you make them active. Lastly, click Save. Now your product is added to your Shopify admin. Now you know how to add a product with all of the essential details. For more videos,
Enough detail on that. I mean, it gets pretty detailed. I mean, for you, Dave, I mean, you'd probably have individual products by variety, right? But you could have Honeycrisp's variant seconds, Honeycrisp Primos, Honeycrisp by bag, all in as one product, right? You could do it however you'd like to do it in terms
Yeah,
of that.
you have to, I think I went as far as, building out in 1 pound, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, and all the way up. in
Mhm.
bulk rates.
Right.
I worked on this all through March, April, May, June.
Yeah.
I wanted the store, and I paid money down, and I paid money on a monthly basis. And all of a sudden I wanted the website store, and they couldn't produce it by the 20th of August. So I had done all this work building all this back detail up with Aaron Farmer. And in the end, they couldn't produce the store for me. They didn't do what they wanted to do. So I said, you know what? I don't have a problem selling my product, so I'm off.
Yeah.
And I went as far as, but I don't know what made me think of that, but that's the way my mind was working about a year ago in January. And I don't know anything about Spotify, and I know that's what I have to do. The one area that the hardest area for me is in Fargo is both Amanda and Trina at Hildebrand and Veggie Barn. They pay me a very good price for my wholesale product, right? And the biggest thing to them, if I wanted to use their location, was to get them to come along somehow into this and sweeten the pot for them. And because that's the locations that I'd like to use, because I could move a lot more apples in the Fargo Moorhead market than just Saturday. Or find a new location.
Yes. But if they're your existing locations, it's a matter of arranging. They're open longer, right?
Yep.
You can kind of see how you drop product, and over a couple days, they're doing the pickups, or customers are doing the pickups at these existing locations. Is that what you're getting at, Dave?
That's right. And I have to do something to tell them, I'll make this worth your while. So
right.
I haven't had that conversation because I ended it last year, but that bothered me. I didn't know how to approach that one. And I think I would have figured it out, but I'd like to get that I'd like to get it at the Orchard. And right now we get through our product, but we're going to get to the point here in a few years that, we need things like this. And Yeah.
And to be clear, this farmer person was a local web person. Is that?
Aaron Farmer, if you go and do a search on it, it's going to be like Spotify. They work with growers like myself. It's done nationally, and I
Okay.
didn't know about Spotify, so I think it's called Aaron Farmer. And I went through a number of training sessions
Sure.
with them. That was all paid for.
Hmm.
And in the very end, when they didn't produce and I had done all the back work, I pulled the plug. I said, that's
Yeah.
it. So,
And it's Shopify. Spotify's music, Dave.
okay, Shopify, Spotify.
Yeah. You keep saying
I don't have
Spotify.
Spotify either, but
I've done the same thing. No. Yeah. But
what I'm trying to tell you is without this training, something told me there has to be an avenue to sell product and pick up product.
yeah.
But this wasn't available to me. So now this is probably what I wished I would have had a year ago, to at least give me the background of what to look for.
Yeah. And and hopefully some of that background stuff you had already done can just be employed in a new system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You might already have the pictures, you might already have the products figured out.
What does Mana pay every month for this service?
Yeah. Well, there's two options. Like, so you saw the examples that I have,
Yep.
right? So what we're doing is we're taking the products and we're pasting them in the WordPress site. So we had a WordPress site that was made by Arvig. And
I know what that is.
and so it's $9 a month to have what's called Shopify Lite. So it allows you to embed those products into a page. Now, they also will offer kind of Shopify store. You heard it talk about store. Let's look at this example of a store. And for that, that's $29 a month.
Okay, I was paying about $89 that should have had a web store, and I committed to that for a year.
Yeehaw.
And then I pulled the plug, went to the bank and said, don't let them withdraw any more funds from my account.
Yes. Stop payment on this. Yeah.
Yeah, so I stopped payment on that, but I probably invested $800.
Sure.
And I chalked it up since I've been in business. I go, well, that's a learning experience. I paid tuition for that one,
Yeah.
So it didn't bother me. I went on with it, but I will do some due diligence on this before our next meeting because, I'm interested in this.
It's good. Well, let me show you what a store looks like.
Okay.
Showing my example of an embedded product and how that works. But let's take a look at a store.
And one thing I just want to pop in was quick, Dave, Ryan's doing the presenting tonight, but we have, through this series, we have a contract with the Small Business Development Center, and there's a gal named Hannah Bretz. She's going to be leading the other sessions. And with our contract with her, she's available to work with you one-on-one after this is over. And she has a lot of Shopify experience. So if you needed someone to kind of help you get started or help you with that due diligence piece, Hannah will be available if that's something you're interested in.
I'm going to be interested in that.
Perfect. And you'll meet
That's
her
great.
next week.
Okay.
Great. So here's an example. I did these workshops for a bunch of artists down in the upper Minnesota River Valley. And there's this couple that do pottery, Tokheim stoneware, which is amazing stuff. They've been at it for 40 years and they're really good at it. And it was interesting when we were talking about Shopify stores, because we're talking about Shopify and that one too. We came across their site as an example. And these guys are basically taking the most basic Shopify template and they made their shop out of it, right? So this is pretty much this is a pretty basic Shopify template, and you kind of get this
Yeah.
idea. Remember, you saw this thing about collections, how you can take products and organize them by collections. Like your example, Dave, I don't even know if you'd need a whole collection really, because I don't know if you'd have so many products. But you can also on this same site, put in news. You can have an about us page. Have stuff here about visiting. Here's about us, you know, they put in a YouTube video and they put some information about themselves. Again, it's a very clean site. It's, you saw how I put in a product. It's relatively easy to put in. The major part though, in terms of the Shopify, is the shop itself, right? So
Right.
here they have a drop down and they've, again, organized it by collections, right? So different collection and then different types of products. So you can kind of see, Dave, you might have like bulk versus bag versus individual or something, I don't know,
Yeah.
or different crops. And then again, it works much the same way. Well, else, you know, you're going to go in, you're going to see the product. This looks probably quite familiar from our own website. It looks very similar. It has a very similar look. You can put as whatever pictures you want related to it. They also embedded this video of them making these bowls and showing these bowls.
After Franz
right?
did the Fjordhorst mug, and then this was.
But again, the guts of it is like, here's a product, it's listed, it's very clear. Here is the price. It comes in different colors. Okay, I like that one, that one. Oh, that one's sold out. Oh, I can get the green though.
Yeah.
Want one of them, or oh, I want a set of 4 of them. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only order 2 of them. Okay, there we go. So you can see, and there they are in my shopping cart. And just the same way as I'm on Amazon, I can just check out.
Right.
You can make a list about what you want to do. If you just want to take PayPal, if you're a PayPal person, great. If you want standard checkout, you can check out and you're choosing, you know, whatever type of method, payment method you'd like. Shop Pay, Facebook Pay, PayPal, whatever.
How about that Venmo? You've been playing around with that Venmo at all? Do you do any Venmo?
I don't do Venmo, Dave. But a lot of people that use their mobile device quite a bit love Venmo because it's very seamless. We just set one up actually for the Pelican market. There's that Luminary thing in Pelican, and our coordinator actually set up a Venmo account and she did some transactions that way.
You mean that Ice Fest? The ice slip, the ice? I walked through that earlier. It was just got really icy.
Oh yeah, the Ice Fest.
It's
Yes,
like you gotta have skates on to do the Luminary thing.
You needed skates for the Luminary. Yes. What, you use Venmo, Katie?
Yeah, I use Venmo with a bunch of different organizations. Right now, the Staples Chamber, I'm doing some work with them, and they use Venmo for their like downtown
Katie, we
like
lost your audio.
souvenirs. Oh, did I? Am I back?
There you're back.
Okay.
Very good.
So I'll just retrace. Yeah, I've used Venmo with a couple different organizations. Right now, the Staples Chamber is using it to sell their St. Patrick's Day mugs as a fundraiser. And it's been real easy because they just have their mugs and they walk around downtown to the bars they have agreements with, and then the customers can buy them right from the people. The Venmo transfers the money right over from their account and they walk away. Real quick and painless. And then the money is transferred into the chamber's account. So real easy way to do kind of, I'd say maybe guerrilla sales, you know, boots on the ground, quick sales. Now I can't hear you,
The
Ryan.
transaction right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I can hear you.
Oh, now you can hear me. Yeah. But that face to face, let's just do action right here.
Yeah,
Right.
do it, get it done, you know, real quick.
Very good. So that's an example of a store. So if you do Shopify at that $29 a month, you can set up your store, right? It's like setting up the basics of a web page, and then you go in and put in those products just like we were looking at. And it's very easy to then present those products in an organized fashion
That's right.
on that store. And again, if you don't have a store, then you're using these buy buttons or embedded. And again, because we already had a WordPress site, that's what worked for us. The one other thing that I think deserves some attention in terms of an option is this thing called, what do they call it? Oi, oi, oi. Hold on, let me show you, maybe it'll come to me. I'll show you an example. So if I want to sell beef. Checkout link, there you go. So here I am, ground beef. We used to sell this 10 pounds in bulk at the co-op. During the pandemic, people remember everyone was searching for beef. So we had, grind up a whole cow. What you can do is you can also create a checkout link. And this is an example, kind of like that example where we're selling memberships on our site. We just did this via link. But if you copy this link, you could send it any which way, right? If you wanted to do sales via an email, you can send the link via email. If you wanted to send the link via, Facebook Messenger or what have you, as long as you had that link, you get the link to people. It opens up. You click on that link. What it will do is it'll show you that that product for sale in the exact same way as it would in any kind of Shopify situation. So you're brought to the product. You're like, oh, there it is. There's a checkout, and you check out the exact same way. For the end customer, you check out the same way as if you were on their site. So I think that's a nice option too, especially for people that do like, I've seen that with a lot of people that do, say, smaller numbers of transactions. I was talking to some artist. She's like, well, I don't know. I do 12 transactions a year. I don't want to spend $30 a month because I'm not doing that many transactions. I just send them a PayPal link. Well, that's essentially the same thing. It's a PayPal link, right? You send the link, they click on it, it takes them to a checkout, and they check out. Questions on that, Dave?
No questions on that. I understand that.
Yep. And the other thing is I haven't integrated it with Facebook. The one thing about you can though, in part because the challenge is Facebook favors only those things that are shipped and that have a PLU or a barcode, right? So if I were selling shoes, I'm selling Nike shoes and I ship them wherever, it's very seamless to take that Shopify store and then say, boop, put that store on Facebook, right? You could use those links via Facebook or Facebook Messenger and the like. But unless you have a store and you're doing the shipping, it doesn't fit that well.
I'm not
And honestly, if you wanted to, there's also Facebook's, they have their own stores. You could just do that, honestly, if that's really an angle somebody wanted to take, that they see themselves selling primarily through Facebook or primarily through Instagram. You might as well just do a Facebook store. Shopify is one step removed, if you will. But
right.
it definitely does integrate pretty well.
Mhm.
All right. Other questions about Shopify's capability in general, Dave? Or
No, I'll do some work on this over the weekend and look into that. And I suspect for that price that I'll move in that direction. We're only touching, we're only touching a little bit of what's going on because this last summer I brought an apple press back from California.
Mm.
And it's tarped at my building up at my orchard, and it will push about 1,800 pounds. It's about 16 and a half feet long, weighs over 6,000 pounds.
Wow.
And we're going to solve the problem of apple drops and apple errors and nicks and cuts and bends. And we're going to keep those. And this next summer, we're going to open the orchard up. It's probably built in the 40s. I watched it work. And we're going to open the orchard up. But within 3 years, I'm going to be in the cider business. So I'm almost approaching 1,000 cider trees, and it just takes me time to get those trees mature enough to produce enough apples. So yeah, we're going to be in a lot more than just apples in the future here.
Yeah, wow.
So.
Well, here, I'll put for your homework, I'm going to put in this. Do you see the chat, Dave?
Yep.
Okay, you can sit and listen to me do this little intro, but there is an entire getting started course.
Yep, I see that.
And it's just a series of 5-minute and 3-minute and 10-minute videos, and you just walk right through it.
Yeah.
The other part is that Shopify will give you a 14-day free account for you just to play with the thing. And so I'll just show you.
And I need that much time. I need between now and August to ramp it up. Do you follow what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you just go to shopify.com, this is the main page.
Yeah.
Right here, start free trial. You put in some basic information, and you're in. And if you looked at that getting started, here is this getting started with Shopify. This, see, hour and a half, 27 different lessons. You just work through those lessons, and it'll show you everything you need to do in terms of, here's the adding the product. We just watched that. How to create a collection, setting up payment. And then this is the part about designing a store, how to create pages, creating a menu, choosing a theme, buying a domain, these types of things. And you might have already purchased a domain, Dave, in your last endeavor.
Yeah, in my last endeavor. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question now.
Yep.
Ryan, the people that I just love, and I just take such good care of these two people in Fargo that work with me. And because they have long established, vendor markets, and they've taught people over time that, organically grown pesticide-free food costs more. And they have, a market for that. And if you say, well, Fargo Moorhead, 300,000, you got 10% of the people, you got a market of 30,000.
Sure.
So they might, like on a sweet tango, where a grocery store might want to dicker with me and try to get it for an in-store special. They might give me $2 a pound, sell it for $3 a pound, and they're happy because people come to their place, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and they want okay. So I come to you, what's the deal? Ryan, I'm in Shopify. People are going to order. I want to use your place as a pickup place. How can we make this both work between us? Because people are coming simply to pick up a product. When I drop apples at your place for you to sell, when people drive by Lake Lida, I want to use your place as a drop place. What would work for you?
I'd say it depends on the effort, right? But like, for example, the people at Falls Baking, they take 10%. Like we do it on consignment, Dave. Like I deliver there once a week. It's a little different because it's not like individual orders, right?
Yep.
But people come, they take stuff off of their stand, they bring it in, they purchase it. The stand brings, to their advantage is it brings people, just like your partners in Fargo,
Yeah.
brings people there. They buy my product, might bring them there, and then they come in and they buy bread. They check out. They keep track of it. Keep 10%. And they give me 90%. And if there's waste, there's waste. Is that more or less difficult than that order is David Johnson's and that order is Paul Johnson's, and Irma over there has two cases. So to the degree that that's a very simple thing for them, it would have the same benefit that I'm given 10% for at Falls Baking, right? If you gather me, I mean, if that becomes some rigmarole, I don't know, it's 15%, Dave. I don't know, but it's maybe somewhere in there. If it's very simple, it's like
I might bring them 120 to 200 pounds twice a week of bulk apples that they can sell.
you're kind of breaking up there a little, Dave. Did you hear, Dave, Katie?
Yeah, he looks frozen right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
There he is.
unfrozen now, aren't I?
Yeah,
Okay, so
You're
so
back.
let's say I'm bringing probably 120 to 200 pounds twice a week.
Yep.
That they sell retail.
Yep.
They sell them $3 a pound, whether it's an apple I charge $1.50 for, the people understand it.
Yep.
But now I want them to handle a transaction because people have ordered on Shopify, and this is a
Yep.
pickup location, everything's set. I'm wondering how I breach that subject with them, because I have two people with two known locations. And maybe I give them the same deal, just, you keep $1 every pound you sell. I don't know. 10%. I don't know if I do the hassle for 10%. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just, I think that there's a fork in the road. One is, I think with Shopify, you could already have the transaction done, Dave.
Right.
Would be important, right? So they're not dealing with the transaction at all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right? So I'm not asking you to do the transaction. I literally just need this box here to be picked up by the right person.
Yes.
So there certainly is the logistics. You can kind of think through the logistics. How hard could this be? What level? Like if it ends up being 5 boxes, they probably would say, who cares? Right?
Right.
You're already we like working with you, Dave. We got a good working relationship. It's 5, 10 boxes, whatever. They'll come pick them up. We'll babysit them. But if it turns into like 50 boxes, well, now they have work on their hands. So I think you can, you got to frame it up in your mind. And I think the way you started that conversation saying, hey, we've had a good relationship here. I'm looking to do this as well. I don't think that's going to detract from your current sales that are driving people here, but I also think it might bring some new customers here.
Right.
What do you think? You don't have to handle the transaction. I literally just need people to pick it up. And it might be where, at least this is how it looks for me in the CSA world, Dave. Oftentimes, a lot of these people that will buy from me and they're buying bulk, they're like Johnny on the spot, right? And so if I drop at the co-op in DL, there's probably about 1/3 of the people that are pick up the first hour. And you might say, hey, I'll be there the first 90 minutes. And maybe half of the people are going to pick up right away. They'll know I'm coming. I will let them know when I'm coming and when it will be there, when it's available to pick up. But there might be these other 2/3 or half, they're going to pick up later. And so I'm just, I think it might drive them to come shop. You do something like that and then see what they think. If because you already have a good working relationship, it sounds, Dave, you know? Now we lost him. See, I gave this good talk.
Right, yeah.
There we go.
No, I listened, I heard you the whole time, so. we're
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna, between my next session, the next session I'm really interested in, I'm interested in these QR codes, these coding. I saw something about that. Very interested about coding. I've thought of the scanning when the type of information pamphlets we produce. I'm interested where someone can scan it with their phone and it takes you to my store.
Mm. Does Shopify produce QR codes, Ryan?
No, they haven't produced QR codes, but there's
What
enough.
about those things when you go to a park and you
Yep,
put
that's a
your
QR
photo-
code.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a QR code.
I want that.
That's easy.
My mind is there. I want people on all of my pamphlets, the stuff that I make every year. I want to start getting this barcode stuff on it. I want people to be able to touch it.
Sure.
And I want it to go to Shopify.
Yeah. Here, Dave, this is a QR code. I mean, this is pretty simple. There's different, you would just Google QR code generator, right? And say I come here and I got my checkout link. Like this. And you got a QR code. There you go.
Yeah.
Sending people that QR code right there is this thing over on the right hand side.
Yes.
That will bring people to that URL. I just made a QR code.
That's what I want to do. I don't know how to do that, but I saw that in one of your next sessions. I thought it was in one of the sessions.
Yep.
Yeah,
No,
Hannah-
I just
yeah.
showed you how to do it here, Dave. Just go to put in QR code generator
Okay.
and
As
you
long
play
as-
with a couple of these. That's all you do.
As long as you have a website to send them to. So yeah, like Ryan said, play around, grab a website and just, create one for fun, for practice.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
And that's the thing, like if you had in Shopify, each product has its own URL, its own website.
Yeah.
And so, or you could generate that checkout link. If all you want is people to go, they're gonna open up that link and then they're gonna see buy Honey Crisps, 1 bushel, boom. That's all you need. You just take, each link can be its own code if you want it. Or more than likely, you're only going to generate one QR code that will go, if you're using Shopify, you go to your Shopify store.
That's right. That's what I want.
Buy whatever you want.
Yep.
Variety is there. You're going to generate one QR code and just put it on rack cards or brochures or what have you. And there you go. It's kind of that simple.
That's all the way I'm planning this out. So yeah, this is helpful. So
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned Venmo a little earlier. Another thing you're able to do with Venmo, QR code related, is you can have a QR code for your Venmo account. So if people wanted to pay you real quick, instead of going through a store, like before you get your store set up, you can, just to do like if I were to sell this water bottle to Ryan, I would just hand it to him. He'd scan my Venmo account from whatever piece of paper I have the QR code on. And if he knew it was $20, he would type in $20 and it would send $20 from his bank account to mine, just like that. And he could walk away with his water bottle.
Wow,
I don't
yeah.
think he'd be buying plastic water bottles, though. He's a much better person than I am.
Right, yeah. But that would be pretty slick. Think of all those hipsters down at the Red River Market days.
Okay, what we did this year is I'd like the recording to go off right now, but I will.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you want me to pause? I can pause, or do you want me to?
No, I just don't want the state.
Here,
But I didn't know about this Venmo stuff, so one of the kids put me on it, and we used it at the Orchard, which
Yep.
was wonderful. We used it at the Red River Valley, and I'd have my phone there, and I'd have my QR code, and someone just scans it, and the sale was
Mhm.
done. But we found out when they sent it to me, there was no cost to the program. But if they send it to a business, then Venmo takes a percentage.
oh, interesting.
So if you, Ryan, instead of, I've tried Square, which I wasn't too happy about.
Yeah.
And then here's how I think. And I'm confident enough about my product and stuff. I go, listen, I don't do all this work for everybody to work off of me. I mean, I'm not giving anyone anything, because if you want the apples, you either write a check or give me cash, right? That's that's the two ways. Well, we started using this Venmo, and if they Venmo David Gottenborg, I have a Venmo account, David Gottenborg. If they send it to me, and it goes into my bank, directly into my bank, there's no fee.
Yeah.
But if they Venmo it to a business like Gottenborg Apple Orchard, then Venmo takes 1.69%. So I felt it was a real easy way to sell product and not have to pay PayPal or any other one.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage.
You Venmo me. I don't Venmo Lida Farms. I Venmo Ryan Pesch.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just like my kids, all these kids in college, that's what they use. Everybody uses that. So they Venmo stuff back and forth all the time. You and I go out for a movie, you pay me later on when you get home, $6.28. That's what it is. But it gets you around that PayPal taking that percentage out of your deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if we wanted to say that on your recording, but that is a way around where
There's no legal advice being recommended this evening by anyone. Nothing is being recommended by anyone. You're just sharing your experience.
Yes, and just as a matter, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just did what I did. So if but we found out, that is what worked. And if someone sent it to Gottenborg Apple Orchard, Venmo takes a small percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But when they send it to David Gottenborg and it goes right into my Apple account under David Gottenborg, I don't pay anyone anything. There's no percentage.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't turn you in, Dave. But
I think you should be thinking about that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am thinking about it right now. But we but some truth in advertising in terms of wrapping up the Shopify part. If you are doing transactions via Shopify, it's much the same in terms of percentage as doing a PayPal or other credit card.
I perfectly understand that.
Yeah, just so you know that. And although when we've used it at the co-op, say when we were doing those turkeys and we were pre-selling the turkeys, right? And we were charging $0. Obviously, there was no transaction, there wasn't any transaction cost. So that is something to consider, and anybody consider, right? You can use Shopify as this pre-arranging tool.
Yep.
Or, you pre-sold it, it's done, the arrangement's made, but the money still needs to change hands at some point. For us, the turkeys, we changed hands when they came in stored. Here's your turkey, and put it through the till, and yep, we bring them up the same way as we would anything else. So that is one way of using Shopify that we found that is quite useful. So you could think of it the same way. I mean, you could use it as a pre-order thing with no transaction happening, or you could do the transaction online, which I think in your situation, and I would definitely do with selling farm produce, simply because the issue of people not picking up their product is a real issue. And if they've already paid for it, they will pick it up, or there's a greater chance of picking it up. From my point of view, I'm always dealing with.
Generally, what I tell people, here's my spiel.
Yeah, Dave.
I'll tell you. I go, listen, I'm in healthcare. Even now, insurance companies send us, believe it or not, payments on a digital credit card, which we have to pay a high percentage for, over 3%. So I tell them, I've had enough of that world. In my world, my app world, two things come true: cash or check. That's operate cash or check. I said, I've had it up to my gills with giving people money that have no interest in what I do. But this is what's the realm I'm in today. We get stuff every day from Humana and whatnots. It's all in a digital credit card that we have to pay. You know, it's silly, but it's another expense.
Yeah.
It adds up every month.
Adds up. Absolutely.
You look into that Venmo. That's a good one.
I'm all over it, Dave. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Well, we're at our 7:30, so I think we've talked enough about Shopify. I've taken a look at it and
I'll
dug into
before
it.
our next meeting, I'm gonna have looked at that. I'm gonna get in and start on this tomorrow. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for attending, Dave, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And we'll have a different presenter then. It'll be Hannah
Okay.
Bretz, but she has worked a lot both on the food side and on the hospitality side. So I think you'll have a lot to learn from her as well.
okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it. So,
And thank you, Ryan, so much.
okay,
Pleasure.
thank you.
All right.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.